Spirit guides. Everything you wanted to know, but didn't know to ask. Once upon a before there was time, all the souls that have ever been and all the souls that ever will be came into being at once, and it was good. And to accompany each soul, a little blob of spirit organized into a group of guides that would travel through time and space with that soul forever. The guides would never take on physical forms, and they would never have lives of their own, and they didn't want either. They are fully realized beings watching the individual soul evolve through various lifetimes and supporting the human that the soul is experiencing life as, when that human will let them. Our spirit guides are bridges between Source and our souls. They know us so much better than we know ourselves because they've been with us through all the lifetimes that have culminated in us here in this current moment. They know, for instance, that your fear of drowning stems from a flood that ended you several lifetimes back. They've seen you struggle with that over and over again, and they want to help you. They know why you chose your parents, even if that idea seems preposterous to you now, and who those parents were to you in other lives. They know why it is that you can't seem to be happy, make money, find love, fill in the blank, whatever it is. And they have endless compassion and love and guidance and even humor to share with you. But you have to ask them. And here's the cool thing. You don't have to join any secret club or buy anything or read anything or even believe anything, because they're just about you and your path through many lives. Of course they want the best for you, the real, true, forever best, not just the smash and grab, get what you can thrill of the moment that's so popular among humans. Because your spirit guides see that you're connected to every other person and thing in existence, and they see how what's really truly good for one is good for all. They see the web of existence and they see your place in it. They are truly your biggest fans. So why don't you know them? Because you haven't asked to know them. They do what they can if you don't acknowledge them, but the energy connection goes both ways. If you don't plug your radio in, metaphorically speaking, and tune into their channel, there's only so much they can do. That's a matter of your free will. But once you get on the same wavelength and let it be known that you're open and ready for assistance and guidance, well, it's pretty remarkable how quickly things can start to happen. Once I started this work, and by that I mean simply that I opened myself up to the possibility that this could be real, or even if it wasn't, it could be helpful, a few things began to occur. They wouldn't have been discernible to anyone else, but to say they were subtle isn't quite right. They were dramatic in the way that an iceberg at your core suddenly beginning to melt would be dramatic. A thawing of all that I didn't know was frozen, but that had prevented anything good from growing. It was that dramatic. The staggering, all-encompassing feeling of futility, dread, and utter aloneness that had been my constant companion as long as I could remember began to dissipate. I can't overstate the feeling of lightness that emerged. It is as real as the heaviness I felt before, and it's never left me. Everything has changed since I came to know my spirit guides. If you're familiar with Abraham of Abraham Hicks fame, you know the kind and quite down-to-earth way my spirit guides talk to me. And when I say they, I don't really mean a group of distinct beings with different personalities. But they are also not just one ego-centered being as each human is. It's remarkable to me that before I discovered Abraham Hicks, I knew my own guides collectively as Ruth, as that's what they offered as a good name to call them. I completely understand that all of this will sound crazy to a lot of people, but the world as it is looks largely crazy to me, so I suppose it evens out. That being said, here's the first distinct interaction I had with my spirit guides in this lifetime. It was about 4 years ago, and I was in my bathtub. I spend a lot of time in my bathtub. After reading a book by Sonia Choquette, I began to ponder this whole idea of guides and whether there could be anything to it. I was still in my sad era. I was ruminating on all the terribles in my life, and from somewhere within me, a little voice called out. I don't think I even made a sound. I just thought in a plaintive and frankly kind of whiny voice, "Why won't you help me? I just need help." And then I not heard so much as became aware of a very real voice in my head that was somehow both authoritative and playful. "Oi, everybody stop the chatter. She's having a hard time and she needs some space." That's what I heard. And I giggled. Please be clear, it wasn't like I looked around all dramatically, all big eyes, and "Who said that?" as bubbles sloshed out of the tub. I had no worry or thought or notion that the voice might be coming from outside my head. I wasn't hearing it audibly. Yet it wasn't just a thought either. I know I'm not the first person, nor will I be the last, to be frustrated in my attempts to describe what it's like to communicate with one's guides. It wasn't trumpet blast and glowing creatures speaking in formal old English. "Thou hast summoned me." It wasn't anything like that. I've likened it previously to Mork talking to Orson at the end of each episode of Mork and Mindy. The closest words I have for it, especially that first experience, is fairy godmother energy. There was a sense of joy and protectiveness in her tone. She was chastising whatever it was that was troubling me, every bit of it, no matter what it was. And somehow that troubling energy began to be defanged. And at the same time, there was a gently playful undertone that seemed to say, "Baby girl, this is all surmountable. Let's just recalibrate and turn this thing around." In a way, I wish I'd noted the date of the first bathtub encounter with my spirit guides. Although it felt important and tremendously beneficial, I had no way of knowing that it would be the beginning of a profound change in my life. When it comes down to it, the date doesn't really matter, though. My spirit guides were patiently waiting through many lifetimes for me just to open the door a crack. And now that it's open, I'm not about to shut it. So in closing, let me ask you, if there's even a chance this marvelous relationship with your spirit guides exists, why not pursue it? No one has to know, and it can change everything.